Hi, welcome to an Easy Trader Update. This is Kim speaking on Thursday, the 7th of February. Actually, I'm still speaking on the 6th of February, so you'll notice there's very little way in of anything of a bar that started on the 7th here, but at least we've got the final part of the bar for the 6th. Now, today was really, this really actually flatters the day in a sense. This red bar here, we've given up most of the gains that were actually made on Tuesday. We could see some further downside. We've come back and tested the regression line, the main regression, but we could see some further downside. I'm still looking at the potential for us to come down and catch that area around about here. Oops, it's not very well drawn at all. There we go, across there, which includes the monthly pivot. I would probably expect some sort of bounce off that. Most likely we've had this sort of area of selling orders coming in here, and it's some lovely support in terms of that area here, so I wouldn't be surprised if it does come down there. We'll get at least a bounce off that, as I say, what with the monthly pivot as well, could give us a nice bounce. And as we look forward to today, as you're listening to this, Thursday the 7th, a lot of news coming out today. We've got two interest rate decisions. We've got interest rate decision for the UK and for the Euro. So two key interest rate decisions there, and comments coming out on them. Both of them I expect will be left untouched. It's just the comments and any statements that are made around these. We've also got the economic summit, some German production, some UK production. So there's some figures, manufacturing production coming out. So quite a lot of figures coming out all the way through to unemployment claims in 1:30. So a lot of information at 1:30. So we're going to have some peak sort of periods. We've really got. Let me see. I'm just looking here. Really, we're going to be looking at sort of 9:30-ish area, very key. Then we'll move to 12 o'clock, less, but we'll have the interest rate decision, and then there's a whole bundle of stuff at 1:30. Whole bundle of stuff there. So lots of different news results coming out all at one time. US based, and of course the ECB press conference, and that the problem I have often with that is the conference itself can run on for some time, so it can be a difficult one. Plus there's the Q&A session, question and answer session afterwards. Okay, so plenty of data coming through as we run through the day, so that may create a little bit more activity. At the moment, short term, I'm still expecting some further downs. As I say, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a run down to this monthly pivot. I mean, we just need a decent correction, really. It's got a bit overdone. The big boys, I'd say the big boys, the Commitment of Traders report is still relatively bullish, and the trend's increasing to the buy side there, but that's often quite late and goes with the trend. The retail clients are really starting to get a little bit bearish on the euro, but I think there's a bit more indecision coming into play there. Not massive orders either way, so it could allow us to drift down some more. Looking at the shorter time frames, we just run through the 60-minute period here. Really not showing me too much at the moment. The daily pivot's going to be above where we are at the moment, slightly. But as you can see, the range for most of the day, it was not a pretty day. And on days like this, as I said in the room earlier on, it's often best just to walk away from the screen quite often. This pretty much summed up a good part of the morning. Got a bit of a move, and then immediately it sort of moved back into, didn't really go anywhere. So funny old day all in all. Better draw that, take that off. It's a funny day with little movement, and probably a lead up to today. Looking at cable, let's just come out to the dailies here on cable. cable's just been selling off. It certainly has lost favour, and could by far go quite a way further down. I was expecting it to hit its monthly pivot quite early in the month, but it's not looking so favourable at the moment. Although we have got a bit of divergence going across from these lows here and the RSI here, so there is a bit of divergence going on. We may get some sort of movement from there, but at the moment it's not really looking good. In effect, we've got almost opposite correlation to the euro at the moment. Every time the pound goes down, comes down, the euro rallies, and vice versa. But you can see what sort of day we had today. It was a real nothing day, which means that the daily pivots are going to be squeezed together when we see them after 12 o'clock. And the best part are useless, really. The daily pivot, actual main daily pivot, is pretty much where price is going to be now. So there's hardly anything to be giving us a clue of direction. One thing, looking at these bigger time frames, we're still under all the key moving averages. This could just be a consolidated period before we see some further downside. If we do get some rallies, of course, we've got to be watching for the potential of it eventually coming up to this monthly pivot, which is right up to hit 159.70. Big ask, I think, at the moment, taking into account the way we're trending down here, and it's really chopped down, and the divergence might help us there. Looking across the yen's carried on selling off against the dollar here. Remember, this is the dollar yen, so the dollar's gained further and further on this. It could well run up this month. It may run up towards the 98 area at some point. I wouldn't be overly surprised to get some reasonable correction at some point. Only the fact is that we've pulled away quite a long way from our sort of key moving averages. We're still quite a long way. We haven't come back to the 50 for a long period here. We've missed the last 2 months monthly pivots, which is relatively rare. We'd expect to get at some sort of retrace, and probably before too long. So certainly wouldn't be surprised at the moment. It's not something I'm not trading against, and it's the same with the euro yen. Effectively, it's what we're trading in the daytime quite often. But I'm really loath to take shorts against it at the moment. Even if the euro's underperforming, the yen's also underperforming, and between them, the yen's underperforming more than the euro a lot of the time. Had a slight correction yesterday. There was a little spinning top at the top there, could show us a bit more downside if the euro comes off quite strong. Of course, this may just pull off a little bit further depending on the strength of the yen itself. But it is giving us signs there's a bit of divergence running in and everything else. So it's there is potential for it to come back. Same as with the euro dollar. So I've just popped this purple line on here. Same sort of level. Expect it to come down to at some point. Would also give a nice bounce opportunity off those previous highs around that sort of area. Okay, a quick look at the equity markets. They've been rallying regardless. And I say regardless, the results have been coming out reasonably, but it's just going up and up and up and up at the moment. There's the US economy isn't really out of the problems at the moment, and yet the stocks have just rallied up. Mainly partly helped by the stimulus that's out there by the Fed, and mainly people chasing some sort of return on their money as opposed to zero return on Fed funds Fed bonds rather, and treasuries. So there's the thing is, with many of these things, as they're running up, it's no point really trying to say, well, here's the top, here's the top. It's a case of when it gives us a reversal, we'll take it. Now, there are signs of reversal. It has diverged, it's pulled back, it's tried coming back up again. It really needs to, there's a sort of, it's pretty close to its monthly pivot. I wouldn't be shocked if we get some sort of a sell-off in this at some point, but it's the some point at the moment. It's really, this on this bigger time frame, it's pushing, looking more bullish than anything else. When you come down to the sort of hourly time frame, you can see we've got a triangle going on here. It's bit of a messy old thing. The direction prior to the move has been up. You would expect it to possibly break up to that upside, but quite often when they run like this, they can go either way. We can get a false breakout up to a tops or something like this, and then they can drop. They're very difficult to determine in terms of where they actually may run. It has been so choppy in between times. It wasn't a sort of a clear run up to here, for example. It had all this chop at this point here, which has messed it up a little bit as well. But there is, as I say, there is still the potential for it to run up higher. Okay, finally gold. Very quickly, sorry, you can see from 60-minute, it's been consolidating. It's in a real sort of consolidated process here. I would expect some sort of breakout. Possibly, it looks to me like it could go towards the upside. We've been tapping along. We've got the regression channel on here, so it's right at the top there. I wouldn't be overly shocked if we saw some sort of breakout. May only be a false breakout, but I think it's hit the monthly pivot. It's on the positive side of the pivots. There's potential we could get back up to those highs there, if not further. When you come down to 60 minute though, you can see on some of these days it's been pretty difficult to trade. I mean, it's all well and good if you're in the position, but so with this chop going on, it's a very difficult currency. Well, it is currency at the end of the day, but very difficult to trade. And some of this whipsaw action, you can be in what you think is a good move, and all of a sudden it just fires in completely opposite direction, then pulls back with you, then fires off in the opposite direction, making it, as I say, quite difficult to trade. Best thing when it's markets like this, as I said, is sit out of them. There's no point trying to fight the markets. Just wait until and just be very patient and wait until the opportunities set themselves up. At the moment, as you can see, I've brought it down to the very short term, the 5-minute time frame, and even when you look through this market during the day, yes, there may have been opportunities on the build up here up to midday, but then it got very choppy, quite dangerous, and as I say, the best thing is not to be playing it. Anyway, on that note, I hope you have a great couple of days. I will try and do an update on Friday, time permitting. Otherwise, we'll be back to normal next week when Kevin comes back from his skiing. So have a great one. Bye for now.